So, if you watched my first look video on Days of War, you'll have a good understanding of the game now and how it all works. If you missed it, check it out in the top right hand corner now. But some more information has come to light regarding some of the features of the game. My buddy Robbie over at Open World Games, their links in the description, he spoke to the lead developer George Rivera the other day and got some insight into the title that hasn't been openly discussed so far. I've reached out to George as well with some of my own questions. He contacted me the other day, so we may have even more info soon. First off, how many maps will we be looking at available on release of this game? Well, George says we're getting 6 fully functional maps for the release, with the focus of post-release maps coming in the collaboration with the community modding tools. That's right, this game has modding tools, and the developers creating their own content. Apparently, there'll be a voting system in-game where you can vote for which map mods you like the most, and then the most popular will be promoted by the game in a way that people can just click on them and then play them. Admins will also be able to set up custom game rules and rotations as they see fit. It's worth noting here as well that the developers at Driven Arts have said a lot of the DLC for this game is going to be free. Maps, updates, new features, weapons will all likely be free of charge. The only DLC that they're considering charging for is special cosmetic items to help fund the future of the game, pay bills and staff and things like that. They've built this game so that they could play it. They didn't want to create an experience where players needed to pay more for extra content. Everybody gets the same experience, they're all playing the same game. This is a massive issue with Call of Duty and Battlefield right now, where the content updates almost require you to purchase a season pass. If you want more than what's in the base game, you have to pay more to get that. And that splits up the player base into little chunks. Overall, that's actually a really bad experience for the consumer, because if some of your friends have the DLC and you don't, maybe you don't have the money to play, and then you can't play with your friends on certain servers. So it's nice to see here that they're going for a free DLC model, almost backed up by cosmetic customization. And while we're on the point of cosmetic customization, this is something that the developers haven't finished yet, and isn't likely to be finished at the time of release either. Options like weapon engraving, helmet design, clothing patches and more will be added as an update soon after the full release of the game. Next, we have weapons, and I'm sure you want to know about those. Currently, there are 2 factions, the US and the Germans. Each team has 12 weapons. That's a total of 24. We've seen some in action like the Thompson, the Springfield, the Luger, the MP40, but more will be unveiled soon. I've reached out to George about this, trying to sweet talk him into revealing some secrets, so stay tuned and hopefully we'll have some more information soon. As part of the Kickstarter though, the British and Russian forces are 2 of the goals next to be reached. So if funding does go well, they'll likely end up in release, which means more weapons as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Whilst we're on the subject of weapons, let's talk about the classes that will be available in the game. Teams will have different classes. They appear to have 5 different classes right now built into it, and weapons will be locked into those classes, so very similar to how Battlefield operates, but there will be weapon variety within those classes. So for example, if you choose to run as an assault player in the US team, you could have the option of a Thompson rifle or a shotgun. The class roles will vary, they are very different from each other. All of them will have strengths and weaknesses. You'll have some basic classes like Rifleman, Medic, Assault, the standard classes that you expect in a first-person shooter, and some more special classes like Sniper, Machine Gunner, and Rocket, and those will have limited slots available in the game. The devs are planning on doing some video updates soon to provide a better explanation as to how these classes work, so I'll bring you some more information when that drops. Moving on from the weapons, the developers have clarified a little bit more what kind of game they're actually looking to make here. Right now, Days of War is an infantry-based shooter only. but apparently that's only for now. They are looking to experiment with it in the future, and the player-based modding system will allow the community to experiment as well, meaning perhaps we'll see vehicles become a focus after the initial release of the game. Players will be able to set up map scenarios where vehicles could come into play, test them, and see if they work. If all goes well, that could be submitted to the developer for them to actually build it into the game. And lastly, a little bit of sad news on my part, but I can understand the thinking behind it. There is currently no XP or progression system built into Days of War. They don't want to create a grindfest situation where players simply grind to get gear that they want to unlock. Each game will act as a standalone match, and it's simply about winning it. All about the skill of the player. Shouldn't matter what gear they have, the person with the most skill in that gunfight should win. That's the feeling that the developers are going for. Maybe if you leave some feedback in the comments and let me know how you feel, I think that's a really controversial decision. So there we go, a lot more information on Days of War. Thanks again to my buddy Robbie at Open World Games for the information. Their link's in the description. He was the one who asked George Rivera all of these questions, and we did get some really, really good answers. As I said, I've sent George some of my own questions, so hopefully I'll get some answers soon. But in the meantime, keep your eyes locked onto the channel for more information about Days of War. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.